Hello, so myself Vijay Golani, and I am leading the development team at Magento as well as the Magento Master and dual architect stuff at Magento. So today, like this is the agenda. Like we are going to discuss about the types of migration and why the Magento migration is required. Key components you need to take care when you start the migration process and everything. What are the analysis you should do before the actual migration, and then after question answer. So these are the type of migration we have: Magento 1 to Magento 2, or any other platform to Magento 2, where they are not allowing to edit like a customize things. So this kind of migration you have. And in this slide, like in this session, we are going to discuss about mainly Magento 1 to Magento 2 migration. So why we required to migrate to Magento 2? Why we need to spend the time and money behind that? So for Magento 1 user, end of life is June 2020, so it is better that you should start migrating. And Magento 2 have the new features that you do not have in Magento 1, so that is also one good thing. And if you are in other platform, then your existing platform is not providing the features that Magento is providing, so you can go with that. And if you want to control the code completely, like some platform is not allowing to control the code, so in that case also you can move to the Magento 2. And like these are some standard Magento features available, like B2B, order management, social, shipping. So all these are like, it's a complete commerce package now. So you should do like a Magento 1 to Magento 2 migration, or any other platform to Magento 2. So before we start the migration, what are the key components you should take care? So we are going to discuss about some components. So the data migration, like what are the data you are planning, like you should migrate. So the data architecture is completely changed in Magento 2 as compared to Magento 1. And data migration tool Magento provides that mainly focus on customers, orders, products, promotions, store configurations, as well as your custom tables also. And there is a one Magento inbuilt data migration tool is also available, so you can use that tool to migrate all the data from Magento 1 to Magento 2. And the slide tip is, like we have some slide tip for, when you start the data migration, then make sure that you turn off your cron jobs, because like cron job is updating your database, and that can cause a problem. So make sure to turn off your cron jobs. Then after other thing is the second thing is like a theme migration. So theme structure is completely changed in Magento 2. So like more like a rich layout things are available in Magento 2 for the performance and the usability perspective. Your current theme cannot be directly moved to new installs. So maybe you can think about like you need a new structure, new layout. This can be a correct time. You can decide that thing also. And in Magento 2 now, based on the responsive themes, so like if you are in a Magento 1 in an older version, then the theme structure can be not a responsive. Now you have the responsive theme structure also. And you are required to build and deploy themes. So in Magento 2, they have the build and deploy structure, so that they are like they can generate a content before you actually deploy the code. So that is a useful thing. Slide tip is now PWA is also available. So in a theme level, you have lots of options now as compared to the Magento 1. Then after extension migration, so these are the key things you need to take care when you are planning to do extension migration. So your old extension is not going to definitely work. So you require to either rewrite it or find from the marketplace. So majority of extensions provider have the new version available, so that you can use the new version in your Magento 2 store. And there are new technology partners also available now, so you can get like more extensions, and you can expand your Magento 2 feature using a technology partner extension. If you do not find it, then someone can build your extension. So like a solution partner available definitely always to build the extension for you guys. And extensions are cost effective. So if your budget is limited, then you can find the extension from the marketplace or any third-party agencies, and that can be cost-effective if, to achieve your custom requirement. And that most trusted location is a marketplace, Magento marketplace. From that, you can easily like they have the different stage to verify the extension. So like trusted location is always Magento marketplace. Then after the third thing is a customization. So component like whatever component you have built in a Magento 1, that also now you require to migrate into Magento 2. So your Magento 1 code, like same as the extension, your custom module is also not going to work. So you require to rewrite it, your code. Then after, in a Magento, there is a code migration tool is also available. So you can use the code migration tool. I will share in the next slides that some tools available, like one is the inbuilt and another is the third-party tool available. So you can use that also. And tool is automated, so sometimes like after you do the code migration, you require to check that you require to maybe add some extra files so that can achieve the exact functionality which you have in a Magento 1. So these are the components that we have discussed that we need to take care, but how to, like, before we start the actual migration, how we can do the analysis report that can help us in a time and money effective. That because if you without analysis, if you directly start the migration, then it may cause a problem like during the migration process. So I have some extension like analysis part. So we start with the extension analysis. Take a time to analyze your needs, that which are your need for the Magento 2 store. So first of all, like, let's start with your Magento 1 and list out all the third-party extensions you have in your Magento 2, Magento 1. And then after this, divide this extension into a 3 category: enabled, disabled, enabled but not in use. Those are extra load in your Magento 1 store. So this is the correct time where you can do an analysis and divide into the different categories. Once you have divided into like list out all the enabled extension, and then you can divide into the different priorities like a must needed, good to have, can have, and not needed. So based on budget, you can select the categories. Like if a limited budget and timeline is limited, then you can start with must needed and good to have only, and other you can put into the stage 2 or stage 3. So that way, like your Magento 1 to Magento 2 migration process can be like a speed up. Once you have the extension listed, then you can clean up the other extension that which you do not need, like unnecessary extension, expired, or non-priority extension. Those also you can take off. So you have the small amount of list now that you can easily do into your Magento 2 store. Then after list the extension, for that Magento 2 version is available. So now you have the extension which you want in a Magento 2, but now you need to check at marketplace that which are the extensions available to achieve that functionality. So that you can find from the marketplace side. And for some features, there is no Magento 2 extension available from the same extension provider. In that case, you can find an alternative extension and list out that also, that this is my alternative extension that I require to install in Magento 2. And list out the extension for that, like alternative extension is also not available. So you can flag them as a custom build. And you can select the priority that you want to custom build right now or in a phase 2. After that, slight tip is like make sure that when you are choosing the extension from the marketplace, like for the one page, if you are selecting the multiple extension, then there can be a conflict with each other. So make sure like you select a 1 or 2 extension and it should not conflict with each other. The second analysis you require to do is a custom development. Like whatever the custom module built, that for that you require to do the analysis. So again, same as the extension analysis, you from your app code local directory, you need to list out all the custom modules and divide into the 3 categories like enabled, disabled, enabled but not in a use category. And again, you can list out all the enable extension. And here you have the correct time. Like if you want to redevelop as it is, or you need some extra features also. Because if you have extension or custom development in a Magento 1, but that is not achieving all the requirement which you want, then this is the correct time where you can add some add-on feature also. So for that, you can divide into a two category, like redevelop as it is, or redevelop but add some extra feature also, because those are needed feature for you. Slide tip is a right requirement for each module again, because like if you just give the SI that these are your M1 site and you want to build an M2, but your custom modules do not written somewhere, then it can be again a disaster. So make sure write a requirement again completely so that they can understand and they can build correctly in a Magento 2 way. Then after third analysis is a core code hack analysis. So don't edit the core. Like if you have seen the Ben Marks t-shirt, have you edit the core code with the angry face, then don't edit the core in Magento 2. Compare your, like whatever Magento 1 code you have, compare with like download the vanilla version and compare with your existing project in a M1 and identify that how many core files someone has edited. So then after identify, like list out all these modified files and check that is of whatever file they have changed in a Magento 1, are this functionality already achieved in Magento 2? Yes, then this is good. You do not need to edit, like you do not need to find an extension or anything for that. And other thing is like if it is not available in Magento 2, that feature, then you can find an extension or you can do a custom build instead of editing the core code file. And the tip is like always have your certified developer and insist that composer-based deployment. So in that case, they will not edit your core file. Then after non-programming, but the important analysis is the infrastructure analysis. That is also you have to make sure that which version you are upgrading and your infrastructure is compatible and have all the settings correctly or not. So like these are the, like Magento has dropped the support for PHP 5.5, 6, and 7.0. 6.x is I think Brent has added as a joke. He said that add a brand joke, 6.x, there is no PHP 6.x. So supported PHP version right now is a 7.1.3 and 7.2.0, but like at the time you are upgrading, then you have to make sure that which PHP version is supported and your infrastructure should be with that PHP version. Then after Redis and Elasticsearch version and RabbitMQ version, so this information is already available on devdocs.magento.com. So you can find from there that which server settings you require to do. Because if you do not have that setting and directly you start the migrating, then it can cause a problem. So make sure that you update your server infrastructure also. And look for the deprecated things also. Sometimes like some features are deprecated, and if you are trying to use those features in Magento 2, then that can also cause the problem. For example, like you can say that from the 2.3 version, catalog search has been deprecated and they are using now Elasticsearch. So list out all this functionality also and make sure that your infrastructure is in that way. And slide tip for this one is like Magento, commerce version have the 3 master database also. So if you have the client requirement that they need a 3 master database, then you can plan in advance, because once you have done the development and you are middle of the development and after that you are starting to use the master database 3, then it can be again a problem and they have to redevelop it, and again it can extend your timeline. So whatever decision factor that take initially during the analysis phase instead of the development phase. So now we are going to discuss about the standard steps that you require to follow during the Magento 1 to Magento 2 migration. So in a data migration tool, Magento have the 3 modes: setting mode, data mode, and delta mode. During the setting modes, Magento migrate all your M1 settings to the Magento 2 settings. And you can see the command also, so you can use that command to migrate all the settings. During the data mode, it transfer all the data, like all the tables you have, catalog, customers, orders, all the tables, they transfer from Magento 1 to Magento 2. And during the delta mode, like when you do the like you have done the M1 to M2 migration in a state server or local system, and if you want to, like at the same time you are not making a site live, so when you want to get extra data, like your M1 site is still live and there are some order placed and you want to transfer that also. So instead of doing again from the scratch, you can do the delta migration. So only where it is an incremental update. So whenever you have done the last one, it will fetch only data from the last one to the current date. So these are the modes available which you can use for the data migration. Then these are the standard migration steps which take a live DB clone first. And so for the safe side, like if something went wrong, then you can have the like DB clone. Empty all your log tables because you do not need all these log tables in a Magento 2 because anyhow it is going to make another logs for you. Then after set up your Magento 2 store, either you are doing these steps in a local system or state server, you need to have the M1 setup also and M2 setup also. So set up your Magento 2 store also. Then after stop all the admin activities in a Magento 1 now because we are going to start the data migration. So make sure that you do not do any data level changes right now. So stop any admin activities you have. Stop the cron jobs in a Magento 1 and Magento 2 store. So make sure that there is no cron running either in a M1 store or M2 store because that is also making a data level changes. Once you are there, then you install the data migration tool either in a local system or you can, if you are doing on a state server, then you can do over there also the data migration tool. And these are the steps which we have discussed in a previous slide that you can do a setting migration, data migration, or a delta migration together so that all your data transfer from your M1 side to M2 side. Once you are done with the data migration, now it's time to do a code migration. So whatever analysis we have done, now it's done like we have to do transfer the themes, like you have to build the new theme, so transfer the new theme. Whatever the third-party extension we have decided based on the priority, now it's time to install those extensions into your Magento 2 store and whatever custom modules we have redeveloped that you can install into Magento 2. Once you are done with the code-based migration, now copy media, SCL, and admin accounts because these are the things that any migration step is not doing. These things you require to do manually. So copy media, SCL, and admin accounts and transfer that to the Magento 2. Now your Magento 2 store is almost ready to launch. So you can put your M1 site in a maintenance mode and put Magento 2 store in a production mode. So for the performance effective, so that can help to have the speed up your Magento 2 store. Then start all the Magento 2 cron jobs now and flush the Magento 2 cache. You can now you need to reindex the Magento 2 so that you have all the indexed data that you can it will be available in a Magento 2 store. Then after server level configurations like final settings like a change the DNS, load balancer, everything, and point to the Magento 2 store. So this is like a standard structure how it go from the taking a DB live clone from the M1 to how you can launch the Magento 2 store. I know like this is like these steps is written here, but it's not easy like as written here. It has extra time required also. But if you follow these steps, then definitely it can help a little bit. Like I have used in a different projects this one, and those steps are working correctly. So this is not like just written steps. It is actually used in the different projects also. I have some useful links also here. Like if you want to have a detailed guide, then in a DevDocs, it is a guide also available. There is a data migration tool and code migration tool is also available. One is the code migration tool is from the Magento side and another from the Unity. You can see the convert M1 to M2. But both code migration tool is not going to convert complete your module. Still you require to verify the code. You require to add some extra files, everything you require to do. And there are some videos also available at u.magento.com. So you can go through the videos also. That can also help you to do a data migration. Thank you. Thank you.